welcome to the channel. Today we have an exciting review of the Neca Pacific Rim, Gypsy Danger versus Knifehead. I'm really excited to review this. Pacific Rim is one of my all-time favorite films. I'm really excited to actually add these figures to my collection. I actually used to have the entire Neca Pacific Rim line, and then I moved and I actually sold them all. So now I'm just kind of getting the ones I want the most. Like, I'm probably going to get this. Obviously, I got this, and the only one I want to track down is Leatherback, because Knifehead and Leatherback are my favorite kaijus of the Pacific Rim franchise. But here's a look at the packaging. You know, there's Leatherback. So these two are my favorite kaiju from Pacific Rim. So when I can find a Leatherback for a decent price, I'm not in any rush, I will eventually pick him up and add that kaiju to my collection. But let's open these figures up, get them out of the box, and take a closer look at them. Here we got these awesome figures out of the packaging. I am so happy to have Pacific Rim figures back in my collection, because since I moved and I sold my Pacific Rim collection, the only thing I had is Hakuja from Pacific Rim Uprising, but I've changed that. I've ordered quite a few Pacific Rim figures I will be reviewing over the next week or two on my channel. But we're going to start out with these guys, who I think are amazing. Like I said, Knifehead and Leatherback are my two favorite kaiju from the first film. That opening scene when Gypsy fights Knifehead is just so iconic to me, and it was such a cool movie. I remember when Pacific Rim was coming out, there was always like these small coming attractions at my theaters when it was like, you know, you'd see the trailer of him fighting Leatherback, and then the trailer would shrink, and it was like, movies this big should be watched at theaters and not at home. And I remember I told everybody, this movie's gonna be amazing. People laughed at me. They were like, oh, okay. And this was the one time I was right. This movie, that from that first day I saw it, has been one of my favorite movies of all time. And I think I've watched this movie more than almost any movie probably out there at this point. I love Pacific Rim. So, take a closer look at Mr. Gypsy Danger. Let me get the camera up a little bit. So, Gypsy is one of the greatest mechs out there. I really love Gypsy. I love the detailing that Neca brings, you know, with the reactor, you know, really nice sculpt of the head, a little bit of hair. You know, all in all, like I said, I love how it looks like metal. It just looks really good. Look how cool the feet look. You know, they really capture all the detail of all the mechanics of this guy, ready to fight, ready to get into some battle with some kaiju. You know, I was gonna get Gypsy Danger, but honestly, I wanted Gypsy Danger more in my collection. I did get a kaiju from Uprising, and you'll see in the next review which Jaeger that is. I think it's a kaiju, but I meant Jaeger. So I did buy a Jaeger from Uprising to go with my one kaiju I do have, which is Hakuja, which you'll see later in this video as we're going to do a size comparison with him. So, put Gypsy to the side, let's take a look at Knifehead. Knifehead, I think, is just one of the dopest designs of a giant monster. I just love everything Guillermo del Toro does with these guys. I like his little like shell. You know, remember the beginning, he's like, oh, the island's moving, sir, and you see a really great image of Knifehead swimming. It's just such a friggin' awesome scene. And as much as like I said, I liked Uprising. I don't think Uprising is nearly on the level as there you go, as the first Pacific Rim. And another thing, I don't think that the designs are as strong in Uprising as they are in the original Pacific Rim. But again, it's comparing Guillermo del Toro. Del Toro is one of the greatest of monster films and horror in general. That guy brings some cool stuff to life. So anyway, back to the figure. Let me go a little bit so you can see his head. So like I said, the detail that Neca does is phenomenal. Neca always hits everything out of the park. They don't hold back. And I just really love this figure. And again, I'm just so happy to have a Pacific Rim kaiju to put on my monster shelf and to represent that film. Because until now, I only had Hakuja, who we're going to bring out shortly. So, and honestly, they scale in pretty decent. You know, honestly, it's not bad at all. I know there's a deluxe version that's a lot bigger, but I'm totally fine with this version. I don't necessarily need to go get the deluxe version of Knifehead. I like the scaling of these two. I think they look great. but we know how these two look together. Let's get a Neca Godzilla and a Pacific Rim Uprising figure to go with these guys. Here are some size comparisons. We got the legendary Godzilla, how he scales in with these guys. And then on top of it, we also have Haikuja, who is a Category 4 kaiju. So let's see how these kaiju stack up with one another. So Haikuja is obviously, he goes on all 6 legs. But scaling-wise, I think it makes sense because he is a lot more massive. He was a Category 3 and Haikuja is a Category 4. So Haikuja and Knifehead actually, I really believe, scaling really well with one another. Let's get Gypsy to see how Gypsy looks with Haikuja. And again, I actually think that, yeah, they scale in really nice together. I do think Haikuja is scaled in really well with the Neca figures. So there's that. So let's see what the legendary Godzilla looks with your Pacific Rim Knifehead. And I think they look really cool. I think they're gonna look really awesome on your shelf. I mean, basically, my Neca Godzilla shelf is just becoming a lot of other Neca monsters. Like I said, I'm adding Knifehead to that shelf, so they look really well. And then, you know, Gypsy Danger. I mean, honestly, guys, can we get this crossover? Legendary. After Godzilla vs. Kong, can we get the crossover of Pacific Rim and Godzilla? I mean, honestly, in my head, the Pacific Rim is loosely in the MonsterVerse anyway. Let's make it official. Guillermo del Toro wants to do it. Stephen Knight, who did Uprising, wants to do it. Let's do it, guys. What do you guys say? How would you guys like a Pacific Rim Godzilla crossover? Imagine Godzilla and Gypsy Danger teaming up and facing some kaijus. I mean, let's just imagine the poster, guys, okay? You got... Boom. This is the poster right here. Boom. Let's see it. Let's make it happen. Anyway, guys, these figures are amazing. I highly recommend, if you can get them for a reasonable price, to pick them up, add them to your collection. You won't regret it. And as always, please like this video and subscribe down below and leave a comment. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.